What's going on, YouTube? Man, I've always wanted to say that. Welcome to another Slice of Life with us. Thank you so much for watching. So in today's video, if you haven't already guessed, we're going to be doing a video about Universal Studios. So one of our earlier videos was about our 5 best, 5 worst, and a few honorable mentions thrown in between there. So today, we're going to do that with Universal.
Yes. Now that we covered my homeland, Disney, we're gonna go over some of the rides of Universal to try to tell you guys what you definitely should miss, what you definitely should go to, and some in between.
Yes. So let's get started. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right.
So we're gonna start with one of the best rides out there now, which is Hagrid's, the motorbike ride. I think that's the full name.
Hagrid's Forbidden Journey, I want to say. Yeah, Forbidden Journey, yeah.
So the ride itself is kind of a roller coaster, and the one sad thing about it is it's
kind of a roller coaster. That thing is a roller coaster.
Yes.
No loop-de-loops.
Yes, that's why I said kind of. To me, a roller coaster has to have it.
I gotcha.
But it's where it used to host the Dwelling Dragons, and before that, the other Fire and Dragon roller coaster, which was one of my favorites, which is kind of a bummer. But it is a lot of fun. It has a little surprise that I'm not going to tell you guys, but trust me. Go there, get the virtual queue, because I think that's what they're doing now for that, and absolutely should ride it.
Yeah, no, it's a great time. Like she said, recommend it to everyone, Harry Potter fans or not.
Yes.
And as she also said, I do miss Dueling Dragons. Just that entryway for Dueling Dragons alone was just amazing with those giant dragons. So, but definitely a good replacement. Go to the next one?
Next one.
All right, so again, these are not in any particular order. Again, these are just top 5 that we've agreed on, and trust me, it was not easy to agree with this one, which I'm sure you can understand. I mean, you know.
Yes, because I'm the stubborn one when it comes to Universal.
Oh, that's true, I am the stubborn one. But anyway, I had to do some give and take, but that's not about this one. One of our top 5, The Mummy, or Revenge of the Mummy. So, starting off with some history, this one used to be Confrontation, which was released at the start of the park back in 1991, and I got to ride it before it closed down, but that ride was always breaking down, and I'm so happy what they did with The Mummy. And I remember when it first came out, it was just so exciting, a little scary, as I was growing up, but it's such a fun indoor roller coaster. Again, no loop-de-loops, which I know not classified according to you as a roller coaster.
Yes, but they have other things that make it into a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And the good thing, like he said, because the Mummy is on the inside, he's not like Rocket or Hulk that with weather might close.
True.
It's always open.
Always, even during Halloween Horror Nights. And so, with The Mummy, it is a fast, dark, indoor roller coaster. It also goes backwards, which is very exciting. There's special effects, pyrotechnics. It's just all sorts of cool. It's a fun roller coaster, and you know the gift shop has some really cool items too, based on the movie. So we definitely recommend you go out and see it. So The Mummy in our top 5.
Definitely.
Next one.
So our third pick for today, it's kind of like something we like a little bit, which is a roller coaster, and it is the Hulk. It's an amazing ride. It's one of the quickest roller coasters accelerations in America, and they just revamped recently, right?
Yeah, they did, because the Florida weather is brutal. And it wasn't, I don't know how recent, I want to say a few years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had it revamped. They revamped the queue, but they also closed it down to refurbish the coaster itself, because Florida sun, Florida rain just
takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, for me, from the 3, one of the best lines for me, because not only it has air conditioning, which not all of them do. Hagrid's, most of the line is outside, but I really like all the activities that happen in the little video intro before the roller coaster. But it's definitely something that you absolutely have to do. But out of the 3 is the one I'm definitely tell you, don't go after lunch.
And definitely ride it at night. It is a cool experience, especially that acceleration, shooting out of the tunnel, seeing all the lights lit up. It's pretty cool. So that's it for roller coasters. Like she said, we're moving on. So moving on to another top 5. Time, the ever-flowing river. Come with us now for Jurassic Park. You weren't expecting that. So for now, this one is in our top 5 with the Velocicoaster opening up this summer. So excited, it looks great. This is still in our top 5. True classic, Jurassic Park. It's just an awesome water ride.
R.I.P. Jurassic Park in California.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews about their version of it. No, their new version.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews about their river adventure, but this one, the one here in Orlando, classic, really good. They always take care of the dinosaurs and like making sure they look nice and refurbished. I mean, sometimes they go down, but that's theme parks. It just happens.
They just need to go for a snack sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're the snack.
Oh. And of course, the big king himself, the T-Rex, always menacing at the very end of the ride. It's just a what?
Spoiler alert, much?
This one. But it's a fun ride. Honestly, it's fun every time. You get to relax if you want during the beginning of the trip, and as you plunge down into the water, it's just a nice, cool, refreshing splash.
It definitely is refreshing.
But got a few more to go. Moving on.
So this one I kind of had to put a fight with him, but hashtag no regrets, which
5.
is the horror makeup show.
Made our top
It's
5.
the only show that's in our top 5,
It made our
and
top 5.
if Beetlejuice was here, probably it would be a tough fight. But I just think it really goes, especially because it's located in studios, not Island of Adventure. It brings that movie theater back of the screens kind of thing. It's really cool. I've been a part of it, as I have proof to show. And it's just so much fun to watch it. It's also one of those rides like we talked about in Disney. It's nice to have a place to sit down and enjoy air conditioning and take a breather before the next ride. So it's something that I definitely recommend, and he may not like it, but he made it.
I'll caveat that with, it's not that I don't like it. I love the horror makeup show. I love the behind the scenes stuff. It's a big reason why I like Halloween Horror Nights, because I'm not a horror movie person, but I love the makeup, I love the houses, the architecture, all of that I really enjoy. So that's why, yes, she fought me on it, yes, it's in her top 5, but I do truly like the horror makeup show, and I agree with her that it's a fun experience, and it's even more fun if you get picked into the show, because they get to show you how some old school makeup is done and new school makeup is done.
Yes.
And some effects, the werewolf effect.
I love
my
it.
favorite. So
let's go before we give too much away.
all right, so again, we gave you our top 5 in no particular order, but it's very difficult to narrow those things down.
They do.
We tried to find some of the best at Island, some of the best at Universal, but anyway, it's enough about the best. We're at the worst, and I'm starting off with my least favorite ride of all time. Mainly because it took away the attraction that I used to work at when I worked at Universal Studios.
And one of my favorite shows, which is Beetlejuice.
That's true, it took away Beetlejuice too. It took away Disaster Studios, you're welcome. It's the Fast and Furious ride. It's awful. It's awful.
Why, Universal? Why? I don't understand. They had so much money. They killed that in Kong.
That's also
Why?
true. So you take Kong. You good? You done?
I'm sorry.
So anyway, Kong and Fast and Furious, Universal, Islands of Adventure. Kong is just way better. It's the same ride vehicle, it's the same concept, except Fast and Furious has more, it goes around the building. Kong is more a straight line. However, Kong just does it better. It more so fits the theme. They're both very simple ride vehicles, but Fast and Furious, man.
It's caca. It's caca.
It's not good. It's really not good. I mean, the only redeeming part, which is very difficult to say,
The only okay part
is the pre-show, or not the pre-show, the
walking
line,
through it, yeah.
All of the cars that they have
Not all
in
of
the
them,
garage.
the biggest one.
Well, yeah, but they have them in the garage as you get closer and closer to the ride. So probably the only thing saving this, but again, it still is on our worst. It didn't save it from that. So Fast and Furious, I don't care what anybody says, out of our top 5, this is the only one I'm saying is the literal bottom of our top 5. It's not a good ride.
Yeah.
If the wait is over, oh, you're gonna say the same thing?
If it's over 20 minutes, go anywhere else.
Anywhere.
It's not worth it. Trust us. Because if you wait more than 21 minutes for that line, you will say they were right. Not worth it.
Not worth it.
Moving on.
Moving on.
So our next bottom one is not the worst like it was
Fast and
before,
Furious.
but it's always on our worst list, which is the Storm Accelerator. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad ride. However, especially in the Marvel Island, they could have done so much stuff. And Disney actually have a newer ride, the Alien one at the Toy Story Land, which is pretty much the same, but it has, yes, you do know.
I was like, wait, I was there.
Yeah, but the G-force is very strong, it's much more interesting. I felt like it's almost like a teacup, but in Storm, for Storm, and I'm like, she deserves better, pretty much. You know, they could have done better, like, especially with the universe that they were working in that area. So that's one of the reasons why it's on the bottom.
I mean, the arcade that's next to it, I think, is done up better. Kingpin's arcade than Storm Force, to be honest. So,
which is sad.
That's what I'm saying. But
super sad.
Yeah, and I agree. I think they could have done a lot more, especially with the Marvel universe. So, but I don't know. Anything else on that one?
Nah.
Pretty
short
simple.
to the cut. To the point.
All right. So next on our worst list, and it was a tough one. This was a little bit of a fight for us, but we ended up going with Jimmy Fallon. So similar to Fast and Furious, the pre-show or the line leading up, my opinion, it's
a
better.
very different one. So
Yeah.
you can't really compare because it's a completely different style than the other rides.
True. This one takes you through the history of NBC and The Tonight Show, which again, very cool. I mean, it replaced Twister. So I know some of you out there probably love Twister. Like, no, I wish it was back. It had to go, man. I mean, there was never any wait. It's supposed to help funnel guests to avoid waits in other rides.
They could have revamped or take it out. They decided to take it out, so.
But I think it's a cool story how he got the ride. There's some YouTube videos out there. Give it a watch. I think that part in itself is cool that he really wanted this to happen. And him, Jimmy Fallon, and Universal partnered to make it happen. So for that, I think it's a cool story. And I do like the NBC building and all that jazz. Kind of makes it feel like New York, which it's in the New York part of the park in Universal. So that's also pretty fun. My favorite part, and is when we went with my dad, is he's like, hey, pizza pie, and throws pie, and all three of us look at each other. Man, now I want pizza. So it's some fun memories with Jimmy Fallon. It's like a cutesy ride, but again,
it's more of the same kind of situation because they had Transformers, they had Spider-Man, and they had Jimmy Fallon doing pretty much the same thing.
That's a tough one. I don't know about that. This one feels more like Minions, which I think we'll get into later on.
So like he said, speaking of Minions, which I've never been to the Jimmy Neutron ride, so I can't really speak for it.
It's fun.
But I think just like with Storm, they could have done so much better with the Minions. And the show and the house entrance, everything is really cute. I love it. It really makes you feel like you're a part of the ride. It's not just those boring videos. But with the Universal Despicable Me and Minions, they could have done the ride so much more interesting with such a bigger story. So to me, it felt kind of flat, which is the reason why it's here. Jimmy has a better story with Jimmy Fallon when it comes to it, but I feel like even though they're the same between the two, I still think Minions is even worse.
So I disagree with you there on the story. I like the story in Minions. It's a cuter story, and it's a kid's ride, so I do like that aspect of it over, you know, Jimmy Fallon. Like, there's no real story there. It's a race through New York. I mean, there's no story. But
there's New York and Jimmy.
It was getting difficult to pick the worst, and I think that's why, unfortunately, Minions is on this list. And it's a cute family ride. But for me, my biggest talking point to why it's on the bottom is that it is the exact same ride vehicle, the exact same ride system as Jimmy Neutron. Again, she doesn't know. So when we talked about this list, I said, look, that's the only reason I can see really pushing it to the worst is because
they didn't do anything.
The vehicle, they gave it a facelift, but the vehicle is all in all the same. But still love you, Minions. Still love Despicable Me the movie. Nothing else to say. I think we can go to one of our last ones here.
Last worst.
Last worst. All right, so kind of the similar note with our best. We're getting into our last worst, and we chose The Journey to Atlantis or Poseidon's Fury. And I do love this for the fun stunts, and if you have a good tailor as your guide, it can make the experience much more enjoyable.
True.
So there's always that. I do like the comedic aspect amongst all the darkness. So I will say though, the walk up to the building, amazing. I love the architecture with that and the
True.
Lost Continent, similar to how we felt about Dueling Dragons.
True.
Nothing will ever replace Merlin's Tavern, the Dueling Dragons stone artwork.
Even
like
the
that.
water fountain at
Oh,
the
yeah.
entrance, everything that's very symbolic. But as a show, is not the best idea, especially because in the
Not the
theme
best
parks-
idea. I just think it kind of falls flat.
Yeah, because think about it. For me, it's not the best idea because the show is one of the places you go to rest in these theme parks, and in this show, you're pretty much walking the whole time.
True.
So it's kind of like you get the air conditioning, but you're still walking. So it's a little complicated to say, oh, it's amazing because at that time, I just want to relax a bit.
I mean, I disagree. I mean, I agree and I disagree. It's, you know, there is a lot of walking in it. I do love the water tunnel. Get a little bit of a cool
Yes,
off there.
that is cool.
So, a journey to Atlantis. Obviously, there's going to be some waterworks, but I won't give all of that away. And there's some fun surprises at the end that, again, even though it's on our worst list, again, most
It's
of
not
these,
horrible.
except for Fast and Furious, go to all of them. Except for Fast and Furious, unless it's a 20-minute wait.
Sure.
So, except for that one, go see all of these. Please enjoy.
They're still really good. It's not like the Hall of Presidents that there's no reason.
But we still have some honorable mentions to get through, so let's get to that.
So, one of our first mentionables, it's one of my beloved areas, which is Dr. Seuss Landing. It's just like some of the Disneylands, like when they have the areas and the little spaces. The Seuss Landing is exactly how I imagine if Dr.
Right out of
Seuss
the
was
books.
real. And it's just great for pictures. The rides are very sweet. I love the carousel because, for example, I would not ride the carousel in Disney World. Have you looked at those horses in Magic Kingdom? They look terrified. I would not go there. Seriously, if you go there, pay attention and let me down below how right I am, which is 100%, okay? But the flying above the rides,
Seuss Trolley?
yes. But for example, the Seuss trolley where you can see the entire Universal Studios, or the little rides like the Cat in the Hat.
One Fish, Two
It's
Fish.
just One Fish, Two Fish. It just pulls all the strings of childhood. Plus the food is funny,
Yeah.
and the characters tell a story. It's just warms my heart.
So another addition to that, I love the green eggs and ham restaurant, like you were saying. The food is good, and it's just a cool little place. And I do love the Grinchmas time, Christmas time.
I
They
love
have
it.
Who's running around, the Grinch running around, and it's just
he's dressed with a
Santa.
Christmas sweater.
Oh, I love it. What do you want? What do you want? So.
I want presents.
But yeah, so Dr. Seuss Landing, it's a classic. It's just like she said, it's a great place for pictures. All the rides are just fun and heartwarming.
Yeah.
So, and I love McElliot's pool. Make sure you throw a coin in the fish's mouth. You see what happens. All right, so continuing with honorable mentions. It's Florida. It's Orlando. It's hot. You need to cool off. You need to get drenched. You go to Popeyes. That's where you go. So this made it to our honorable list because both of our families truly love this ride. And like she was saying earlier with Poseidon's Fury, yeah, I said Journey to Atlantis, Poseidon, same thing.
That one.
You get to sit down and truly cool off and get soaked in this ride.
Yes.
And the barge or little raft that you're on constantly circles, so you never know.
Everybody gets
You
wet.
never know. Make some friendly bets with your friends and family
Yes.
on who's going to get the most soaked. It's a lot of fun.
It's usually me.
But, so it's just a fun ride. It's a great one to relax and, again, get soaked. So be prepared for that. There's a spot in the middle where you can put all your belongings and your
With
everything.
a lid.
So you'll be good there. But, again, honorable mention, fun ride, great way to cool off on a hot summer day.
Yes.
Just go. Popeyes.
Which, by the way, just a little side note, we recommend starting at Island on the left if you're gonna do the water rides, because that way you do Popeye, you do Jurassic Park, and you do Ripley Do, right? That's the name?
Dudley Do Right. Close.
Dudley Do Right. So that way you get wet and you dry throughout the day. Trust me, you do not want to do the water rides later on the day because you're gonna get cold.
And Florida's weather is very bipolar, so it may rain, may get cold, so just
Start
go
with
when
the
it's
left.
super hot. Just do that. Ready?
Ready for the last one. So our last honorable ride is definitely an honor because it's one of the last rides they are honoring this huge director, which is E.T.
But it's not just the director, it's one of the only original rides from Universal Studios' opening.
That I did not know.
Yeah, no, again, I got you covered with Universal Studios, so it's crazy to think that's one of the last rides left. But go ahead.
It feels like a little bit like Peter Pan and Small World. It's one of those rides that it's timeless, it's beautiful, it tells a story. I wish they revamped a little bit with some of it, but I definitely do not wish, like Barney, thank God it's gone, but I don't want to take it away with E.T. I just wish they gave them a little polish, but it's just a beautiful ride. It pulls all the strings and it's just a classic. We had to mention it.
Sorry, so Chasa decided to...
DJ with the phone.
I know, I have my phone over there, which has this picture in the background, so he decided to step on it and move it around. So I forget where we were going with that, but E.T. refurbishing the ride. Oh, it's always fun when you are with your family, and I mean, if you have a kid with you, you want them to sit on the bike with E.T. in the basket in front. If not, it's always fun to kind of argue who gets that first spot.
Go!
But it's like she said, it's an old ride. The animatronics are old, similar to Peter Pan and It's a Small World. But it's just the feels. It's just the feels of E.T. and the heartwarming story. So, I mean, we definitely recommend going. It's an honorable mention, and it's a classic right next to Kid Zone. So, that's all we can say about that one.
Okay, guys, so that wraps up all of our best, our worst, and our honorable mention rides. Just like we did for Disney, we were really wanting to do for Universal because they're both amazing, and who knows, maybe one day we go to other Disneys and Universals to do their best and worst.
That would be fun.
But I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you guys disagree, if you think one of the worst is the best or the best is the worst, which I think we did a pretty good list still, let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, leave us ideas, because we love when you guys interact and let us know what is your favorite, what is your worst, what is all of it, what is life. So don't forget to send it to all your friends, and if you don't like it, like we always say, send it to your enemies. Thank you so much for sharing a slice of life with us.
That's a wrap!
Bye.